Hey drummers, Jim Linsner here, and that was Omar Hakim playing the song Molasses Run, which in my opinion is one of the funkiest and most creative grooves ever. It will probably come as no surprise to you that it's very, very challenging to play, but it's not impossible. And I'm going to break it down. I'm going to show you a step-by-step process so that you can play it too. Step one, obviously we're going to play it a lot slower than the original. I'm going to put on the phones and I'm going to listen to the metronome at 80 beats per minute. We're also going to strip away all the hi-hat embellishments and all the ghost notes of the snare. So what you're left with is eighth notes on the hi-hat and a syncopated pattern between the left hand and the bass drum. And notice that there's one note in the second measure, the 2E, where the left hand moves over to the floor tom. Step two, you're going to open the hi-hat on the 3, you're going to close it on the end of 3 in both measures. Step 3, we're going to literally add 2 more hi-hat notes, but it's going to seem like more than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the hi-hat part by itself first, and then I'll add the rest of the groove. Step number 4, we're going to take away all the hi-hat embellishments, but we're going to bring in all the left-hand ghost notes. Memorize the pattern so that you can look at your left hand, and so you can make sure all those ghost notes are just 1-inch strokes. And then, of course, the accented lefts are going to be much larger. Another thing to pay close attention to is when a ghost note coincides with the bass drum. You really want to make sure that those are absolutely in unison and not flammed. Step number 5, now we're going to bring back the hi-hat embellishments. This is by far the hardest part. Not so much the opening the hi-hat on 3, but the 2 anda and the 4 anda. Getting that in sync with the ghost notes, wow, that's really hard to do. Whenever there's a problem spot in a song or in a groove, for me, I like to isolate that problem spot and turn it into an exercise. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take just the hand pattern of the first 2 beats, and we're going to play that over and over again. Step 6 is really just getting that pattern up to tempo. So what you do is you get it to the point where you can play it 8 times perfectly at 80 beats per minute. Once you can do that, then you're ready to move it up to 90. Play it at 90, 8 times perfectly, move it up to 100, and so on until you get to the goal tempo, which by the way is 128 beats per minute. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to play the groove at 100 beats per minute, and then 115 beats per minute, and then finally the goal tempo, which is 128 beats per minute. Okay, that's the process. It's not easy, it's not quick, but it really works. And I know some of you are probably thinking, you know, my band is never ever going to play Molasses Run, and that groove will not fit in any of the music we play. So why should I learn it? Where am I ever going to be able to apply it? Well, I'll tell you, if nowhere else, you can play that beat in a drum solo. Busy, impressive beats always work in drum solos. And more importantly, when you learn a groove that's that far out of the box, it makes you more creative. There are like 4 concepts in that groove that can be applied to many other grooves. Ghost notes, hi-hat embellishments, playing the snare drum, the accented snare drums in different places than the 2 and 4, and moving a note to the floor tom instead of playing all the notes on the bass drum. Very cool stuff, and it can work in lots of different styles of music. But most importantly, the more you play, the better you get. So it's vital to have things that excite you and make you want to practice. Even if you never play this groove in public, it's still money in the bank because it made you a better drummer. Get to work. I'm Jim Linsner. See you next time.